This is another chapter in concrete ingredient, but this is something extra. What we need to learn in this chapter is the admixture. So you have that 4 ingredient for concrete mix. The common ingredient is cement, aggregate, which are coarse and fine aggregates, and then you have water. If you have these three, you already can make a concrete mix. But there are some quality that we need to achieve, or some performance that required by contractor or engineer, so we need to put another ingredient, what we call as admixture. So this is another ingredient that is other than cement, water and aggregate, and what you need to do is to add this admixture before or during the mixing. So this is the formula or the idea of having admixture in the concrete. And why we need this is to modify or to improve the specific properties of concrete. Okay, most of the time we do have the ready made that can be used to your concrete mix in terms of liquid or powder form. So the effectiveness of admixture depends on types and amount of cement, temperature of the air, water content, temperature of the concrete, and also mixing time. So let's see for the purpose of admixture. You have a lot of purpose of admixture. You can choose from these 7 items. The first one is to improve durability by entrainment of air, reduce the water required, accelerate seating and hardening. This one is commonly used for indoor works where we need the concrete to harden very fast, so we need to put some admixture, so when the concrete harden we can make something else. And impart water repellent or waterproofing properties to aid curing, reduce bleeding, and also improve workability of fresh concrete. So what is curing? Curing is important in concrete mix because we need the concrete to set in the designed strength. So during curing of concrete is the process of maintaining moisture in the concrete. The objective of it is to gain strength of concrete properly. So next is types of admixture. We have air entraining admixture, accelerating agent or accelerator. You have retarder, and then water reducer, and also super plasticizer. Okay, you can see the picture here. What is air entraining admixture? So either in terms of liquid. Okay, what happened is in the internal structure of the concrete. It is used to stabilize microscopic air bubble in concrete. Okay, we cannot see it in terms of physical, but it is actually happen in terms of the internal reaction where we can stabilize the air bubble. And then to improve resistance to freezing, this is more to temperate climate countries when exposed to water and de-icing chemical, and then to improve the durability of concrete resistant to the effect of frost and de-icing salt. Okay, next, of course, you have more in terms of the advantage of it, which is to improve the workability and cohesiveness of fresh concrete. We have already discussed about bleeding, so at this we can reduce the bleeding and also segregation. Okay, these items or this admixture is useful when aggregate with poor grading are used. what you need to do is to add directly to the concrete materials either before or during mixing. Okay, and what you need to know is also the advantages. Generally, for every 1% entry in air, concrete loses about 5% of its compressive strength, and then because of it, it will reduce the concrete strength. In terms of effect of color, it makes color lighter. Okay, some architect might not like it because they already determine the color, so it is more to ask for the client whether they want either this one will affect the construction. Okay, next what you have in terms of admixture is accelerator. The advantage is the most popular kind of chemical admixture. Okay, why? Because they need to set the concrete earlier, so they put accelerator. This is for repair works involving water leakage, slightly increases workability and reduces the water required to achieve a given slump in a mix. So what actually accelerator do is to increase the rate of hydration of cement, thus increase strength. And the most common admixture for this purpose is calcium chloride or CaCl2. Okay, you have the disadvantages of accelerator. Okay, higher dosage of calcium chloride will increase shrinkage. The effect is darken the color. Next is the cracking due to greater heat evolution. Calcium chloride may promote corrosion in steel reinforcement, and it is not recommended for pressed concrete. So what else that we have in terms of admixture is retarders. It is to delay the setting time of cement paste in concrete. Why we need to use retarder especially in hot country with high temperature and low humidity and windy. The high temperature cause an increased rate of hardening which made placing and finishing difficult. To keep concrete workable during placement and delay the initial set of concrete. So, compared to previous admixture, retarder actually hold back the hydration process, leaving more water for workability. Okay, what retarder do is to retard settling time and allow concrete to be hauled long distance from mixer truck to site, ensure it reach its destination in a plastic and placeable condition. So this is figure 4 showing the effect of concrete temperature and retarder on setting time. So in the x-axis we have time hours, and in the y-axis is penetration resistance. So we have all of these in terms of with admixture and without admixture. Okay, with admixture is actually prolong the concrete to set. For the advantages of retarder, these are the advantages. Number one, slowing the setting time of concrete, so it is not suitable to be used in low temperature. It will cause premature stiffening, rapid evaporation of water, leading to loss of workability and cracking to concrete surface. Okay, next we have the admixture, what we call as water reducer or plasticizer. This is needed to achieve higher strength by decreasing the water or cement water ratio and to increase the slump. To increase the workability so as to ease placing in accessible difficult condition and location, and this is used to reduce the amount of water necessary to produce a concrete of given consistency. Typically decrease the water content of concrete mix by 5 to 10%. So it all depends on the dosage in terms of the effectiveness. Given dosage is dependent on cement type, aggregate types and grading, mix proportion and ambient temperature. So of course, every admixture has the advantages. Excessive dosage rates will retard the setting time of concrete. Some reducing admixture will show significant increase in drying shrinkage. Okay, other than that, we have what we call as super plasticizers. This one. Okay, this is a new category of water reducing admixture and are most effective in dispersing cement particles. Okay, what are the advantages? It is used to produce flowing concrete without having a chance to original mix composition and without causing a strength reduction. So it's quite good, It can maintain the original mix composition and the strength is also maintained. Flowing concrete is a highly fluid without segregation but workable concrete that can be placed with little or no vibration or compaction. With a little or no compaction and vibration, your concrete will set accordingly. Okay, it can reduce in water up to 25% to achieve high strength at a given workability. Useful when placing concrete in difficult location, for example, where reinforcement is heavily congested and where rapid placement of concrete is required. Suitable such as floor slab, where concrete flow to self-leveling position, reduce effort required for placing and finishing. You know, slab is very huge area, right? So when you place the concrete, it's require time to level everything. So which this kind of admixture, it will ease the works for leveling. Of course, a good material always come with the disadvantages, and the disadvantages of this admixture is high cost. Okay, this is not just the admixture that you can have in the market. What else is other admixture? For example, you have bonding admixture, you have water repelling agent. So these two are also in terms of the types of admixture. Okay, what is the bonding admixtures? It is an organic polymer emulsion used to enhance the bonding properties of concrete. Most of the time you are using this for patching and remedial work. Why you need this is to increase the abrasion resistance of concrete and tensile strength, but some reduction in compressive strength also occurred. For water repelling agent, these are the least effective of all admixture based on metallic soap or vegetable or mineral oil. Give a slight temporary reduction in concrete permeability. So this one is because you are adding water repelling agent, so that water is not absorbed to your concrete mix, but you have that water drop on the top of the surface of concrete mix. So you can put all of this information together in a table so that you can have all the similarity. There is advantages and disadvantages, and also the function and also application for all admixture. Okay, of course you cannot use simply use. We have the guideline to use admixture in your concrete mix, which is STM categories of admixture. We are using a STM C494 specify the requirement for 7 chemical admixture types. So these are all the types. Okay, types A is water reducing admixture. For type B, retarding admixture. C for accelerating admixture. D is water reducing and retarding admixture. E, water reducing and accelerating admixture. F is water reducing high range admixture, and G is water reducing high range and retarding admixture. So that is all about admixture, and next lecture will be the concrete design.